Ruan Tang, the personal assistant to the cold and aloof President Cheng Yizhu, received a sudden message from her boss at 2 o'clock in the middle of the night, ordering her to go to his luxury villa on the weekend for cleaning work. Cheng Yizhu was a stern, reserved and indifferent tycoon who always kept a cold and distant temperament. His private mansion was decorated in a minimalist black, white and gray old style, which perfectly mirrored his unapproachable personality, making every corner filled with a sense of alienation and coldness. When Ruan Tang slipped into the master bedroom with a feather duster to clean, she was greatly shocked by an unexpected discovery. Behind his cold and rigid bedhead, the stern president kept a cute brown plushed teddy bear, which was specially dressed in a delicate suit and bow tie. The huge contrast between the cold, domineering president and the soft, lovely doll aroused Ruan Tang's strong curiosity, and she could not help pinching the bear's ears and murmuring to herself, indulging in this interesting hidden side of her rigorous boss. Accidentally, she slipped on the smooth floor out of carelessness. The plush bear slipped out of her hand, drew a sharp parabola in the air, and crashed heavily into the wardrobe. The back of the bear was torn open violently, with white cotton wadding spilling out messily. At the exact moment when the toy was damaged, sharp and piercing pain suddenly burst from Ruan Tang's back. The pain was so real and intense that it was like being cut by a sharp blade. She could not control her body and knelt heavily on the ground, cold sweat breaking out all over her body in an instant, trembling uncontrollably in the throbbing pain. The bedroom door was pushed open violently in the next second. Cheng Yizhu stood in the doorway against the light, wearing a loose and unfastened bathrobe. Crystal water drops hung on his tight chest muscles, exuding a strong sense of masculine charm and laziness that he never showed in the workplace. His cold eyes instantly locked on the broken plush bear on the ground, and his pupils shrank sharply in shock and rage. He called Ruan Tang's full name in a low, cold voice, every word squeezed out from between his tight teeth, full of suppressed anger and cold displeasure. To Ruan Tang's great shock, this 30-year-old cold president actually called a plush doll his son, treating this little bear as his most precious treasure. Without paying the slightest attention to Ruan Tang, who was suffering from severe back pain, Cheng Yizhu knelt on one knee, gently and carefully held the broken bear in his arms. His slender and well-knit fingers stroked the cracked back of the teddy bear gently and distressed lie. Every light touch and drub from his fingertips would trigger a strange electric current along Ruan Tang's spine, bringing her the same dull pain and strange tingling sensation as the bear felt. A mysterious and indescribable empathy bond quietly formed among Cheng Yizhu, Ruan Tang and the plush bear. Cheng Yizhu quickly noticed this abnormal connection. He raised his deep gray eyes, scanning Ruan Tang's pale and forbearing face like a precise X-ray machine. His knuckle fingertips pressed and rubbed the damaged part of the bear's back heavily, making Ruan Tang's pain intensify instantly. She knelt unsteadily on the ground, and the thin silk skirt on her body suddenly cracked with a clear tearing sound. The atmosphere in the bedroom froze completely in an instant. Cheng Yizhu's sight slowly shifted from the cracked skirt to the injured little bear, and finally fixed on Ruan Tang's bitten and ruddy lips. A faint, playful and deep smile curled up at the corner of his cold mouth, and a strong possessive desire quietly surged in his deep eyes. He stroked the thick fluff on the bear's chest with his thumb, his tone full of heartache and doting for the doll, asking softly whether his son was in pain all over. Ruan Tang was flustered and tried to snatch the little bear from his hands, but Cheng Yizhu easily held the toy high with his 188 cm tall figure. Ruan Tang could only stand on tiptoes in vain, looking like she was taking the initiative to throw herself into his arms. The clear fragrance of his body wash mixed with his warm body temperature wrapped tightly around her, making her heart beat chitically. He stopped Ruan Tang's movement in a low voice, warning her not to touch his son at will, and deliberately teased and inspected the damaged parts of the bear in an ambiguous tone. Whelmed by the continuous pain and strange sensory entanglement, Ruan Tang completely collapsed and slumped on the sofa. Her thin silk camisolo slipped off her shoulder inadvertently, revealing delicate and fragile skin. Shang Yiju's Adam's apple rolled obviously at the sight, and his eyes became darker and more obscure. He leaned down, propping his arms on both sides of her body, leaning close to her sensitive neck, his hot breath spraying on her skin, and asked in a hoarse and ambiguous tone whether her physical discomfort was caused by simple allergies or the subtle sensitivity brought by the strange empathy. After that, Chang Yizhu took the broken bear to the kitchen console on the excuse of a comprehensive physical examination for his son. He put on a white coat outside a tight black tank top, showing his smooth muscle lines on his arms. His cold and abstinent temperament merged with the seductive uniform style, forming an extremely attractive contrast. He carefully wiped the bear's wound with medical alcohol cotton. Every cold wipe and delicate touch made Ruontang tremble and cling tightly to the marble countertop, bearing the synchronized pain and strange itching from the empathy bond. He used their tweezers to sort out the exposed cotton wadding in the crack. The cold metal touch acted on the bear's wound, making Ruontang's knees collide heavily with the cabinet involuntarily. Chang Yizhu caught her subtle reaction in full view, and the smile on his lips became more meaningful. He had already fully discovered the secret of the empathy between Ruontang and the little bear. He pretended to record the physical data of the toy seriously, took off his flat glasses casually, and the broken hair on his forehead fell down, softening his cold temperament and making him look much younger. Then he held the bear by the back of its neck, preparing for an oral examination for the doll. The moment he opened the bear's mouth, Ruontang's tongue suddenly went numb and tingling for no reason. When his fingers stayed at the doll's mouth, she opened her lips slightly in a daze. Completely out of her control, Chang Yizhu caught this subtle and lovely reaction, his eyes darkening with deep desire, and his voice suddenly became low and hoarse. After the series of deliberate temptations and examinations, Chang Yizhu ordered Ruontang to prepare bath water for the little bear. The sound of running water in the bathtub covered her messy heartbeat and flustered breathing. He leaned lazily against the bathroom door frame with the bear in his arms, his burning sight lingering on Ruontang's slender waist exposed when she bent over to adjust the water temperature. Before she could react, he suddenly pressed her shoulder tightly with the plush bear, uttering an astonishing request that they bathe the bear together. Ruontang's mind went blank instantly, falling into a complete shock and stupefaction. Chang Yizhu explained unhurriedly that he only asked her to clean the toy, but he deliberately leaned close to her ear and whispered ambiguously, asking teasingly whether she was secretly looking forward to taking a bath with him. When Ruontang carefully applied bath foam to the bear's fluff, she bit her lips tightly to suppress her broken gasps and subtle physical reactions. Chang Yizhu stuck closely behind her, wrapping his big hands around hers, teaching her to rub the bear's soft belly fluff in circles hand in hand. The intimate skin contact and overlapping body postures made the ambiguous atmosphere reach the peak. He took over the cleaning work alone at the most delicate part, his slender fingers shuttling through the rich foam, and all his focused actions firmly attracted Ruontang's line of sight. In a moment of weak collapse, Ruontang leaned her head back suddenly and accidentally hit Chang Yizhu's warm palm. He stopped all movements immediately, with bath foam still sticking to the bear's trouser legs. He squatted down to look directly at her, and his fingers stained with sweet bath foam gently stroked her delicate chin and soft lips. The sweet and strange taste of foam spread in her mouth, making her whole body weak and her mind confused. On the working Monday after the weekend farce, Ruontang avoided Chang Yizhu's sight throughout the morning meeting, not daring to look at the president sitting in the main seat. All the strange experiences brought by the little bear were vivid in her mind. At the meeting, Chang Yizhu announced that the company's team building would be held in a hot spring resort on the weekend. When a female colleague from the finance department asked whether family members could be brought to the activity, all eyes in the conference room turned to Ruontang in unison. Chang Yizhu locked her figure with deep eyes and threw the question to her on purpose, creating an ambiguous commotion in front of all employees. After the meeting, Ruontang was blocked in front of the copier by Chang Yizhu. He held the repaired plush bear in his arms, asking in a low voice if she had been deliberately avoiding him these days. Then he gave her a cold order, forcing her to wear the custom swimsuit he had prepared for the hot spring team building, and threatened secretly that if she disobeyed, he would conduct a public re-excommunication on the empathy bear in front of everyone. At the hot spring resort, the air was filled with the unique sulfur smell of hot springs. Ruon Tang wrapped her bathrobe tightly and stayed away from the crowd cautiously. The swimsuit sent by Cheng Yizhu was extremely exposed and bold, only spliced with thin ribbons, and a mini body exactly the same as the bear's was attached in the gift box. She was dragged into the open-air hot spring by her enthusiastic female colleagues in full view of everyone. Amid the dense hot steam, she saw Cheng Yizhu leaning lazily by the pool, with crystal water drops sliding down his chest muscles in mermaid line, full of wild charm. He held the little bear wearing a mini swimming ring in his hand, the cute appearance of the doll forming a sharp contrast with his wild and sexy figure. Under the unanimous easing and coaxing of colleagues, Ruon Tang had to move to the seat beside Cheng Yizhu awkwardly. He easily took away the ribbon of her bathrobe, imprisoned her wrist by the hot spring pool, and drove away all the knowledgeable colleagues, leaving only the two of them in the steaming mist. He counted the times she called his full name in a low voice, teased her with the plush bear, and indulged in the intimate and ambiguous atmosphere between them. After the team building, a transparent glass cover appeared quietly on Ruon Tang's workstation. Cheng Yizhu personally put the plush bear into the cover and locked it tightly, claiming to guard against thieves. In fact, he only wanted to prevent Ruon Tang from secretly approaching and touching the bear privately. His deliberate words in front of colleagues exposed her secret behavior. In fact, during the overtime late night last week, Ruon Tang was the only one left on the entire floor. He could not resist the bear's cute and soft appearance and secretly kissed it lightly, which had long been completely recorded by the hidden monitoring equipment on the doll. That night, Cheng Yizhu sent a work message, ordering Ruon Tang to go to his president's office at 10 o'clock in the evening to make up for the team building summary report. When she arrived on time, the whole office floor was quiet and silent. She heard the sound of running water as soon as she pushed the door open. Cheng Yizhu was washing his hands by the sink, with his suit coat taken off and his shirt sleeves rolled up to his elbows. The plush bear was lying naked on the clean towel beside the sink, covered with white bath foam all over its body. He ordered Ruon Tang to help rinse the foam off the bear, and forcibly put her hand on the doll's fluffy fur, letting her truly feel every subtle touch and sense the synchronized empathy. He sat side by side at the desk to write the work summary. The wrapped little bear was placed beside the display screen, witnessing every subtle interaction between them. Whenever Ruon Tang's thinking was stuck, Cheng Yizhu would tap the bear's body with a ballpoint pen. The slight touch acted on the bear, triggering a strong physical reaction on Ruon Tang's body, making her tense and flustered. He deliberately interrogated her about every move in the hot spring that day, forcing her to recall the ambiguous, intimate moments between them. He handed her icy cold water to calm her down, and left ambiguous notes beside the computer, revealing that the bear had been staring at her every move, and leaving a secret invitation for her not to lock the office door that night. After finishing the work arrangement, Cheng Yizhu took the bear to the restroom, saying that his son wanted to stay at Ruon Tang's workstation for the night. At 1 o'clock in the early morning, Ruon Tang returned to the empty office floor uncontrollably. The protective glass cover on the workstation had disappeared, and the little bear wearing a brand new custom suit sat quietly on her chair, with an open professional book about empathy phenomenon placed in front of it, recording the detailed solutions and principles of emotional synchronization.